everyone, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes, where we look at the current and upcoming astrology and numerology codes to help us navigate these incredible times of change. And speaking of change, the planet of change, of shifts, of breakthroughs, Uranus is about to station retrograde, and this time around it is a much more potent stationing process. Stationing means when a planet slows down, and for these outer planets, the slowing down process really takes a long time. It usually takes a few weeks. So this time around, Uranus is stationing retrograde right between two Aquarius full moons. Having two full moons in Aquarius is unusual to begin with, but to have the ruling planet of Aquarius, namely Uranus, station retrograde during this time is really stunning. Plus, Uranus is stationing retrograde at 14 degrees in Taurus. So first of all, Uranus entered Taurus in 2018, and it will be in Taurus until 2026. So it's a very slow moving planet. So this retrograde happens right in the middle of Taurus at 14 degrees. And 14 is instrumental in this whole narrative of change because we are in 2021 in a 5 universal year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 for 2021 adds up to 5. 14 degrees, 1 plus 4 also equals 5. The number 5 is the number between 1 and 9, the middle number, and it faces left, it faces right, it sits on a rocker, and so it represents change, freedom, letting go, adventure. And so this is powerful stuff, right? When we have a code that coincides with each other. But not only that, we have the planet Mercury in Virgo at 14 degrees the moment that Uranus stations retrograde at 14 degrees Taurus. And Virgo and Taurus are both earth signs, so this creates a gorgeous earth trine, 120 degree trine that is exact. So we have this double 14 code, we have a triple 5 code. This is exciting too because Mercury and Uranus represent the lower and higher mind, the lower being the rational, the higher being the inspirational mind. And 14 and 5 are connected to the mind triad in numerology. And so this triad, including Uranus and Mercury, govern communication, connection, anything going online, going on in terms of global communication. So expect some profound revelations in the media, but also personally. So it's collectively and personally to really ramp up during this time as we enter the last third of the year. And this will continue because, of course, 2021 is a 5 universal year, and Uranus is entering its retrograde now. So the combination of the number 5 and Uranus and Aquarius triggers big changes and surprising developments. And breakthroughs are going to be everywhere. They're going to come out of nowhere. They're going to be lots of breakthroughs in rapid succession, since this star code also represents a quickening. So the other thing that's going on to make it even more passionate is that Mars is in a tight conjunction with Mercury. So they're both creating a trine to Uranus. Mars will be at 13 degrees Virgo and Mercury, of course, 14 degrees Virgo. So Mars is firing up Mercury and, by virtue of the trine, Uranus. So the themes of freedom and passion are extremely strong. So I can't stress enough that the Uranian energy is expansive during this time. And here's the other thing. There are lots of planets that are the slow-moving planets, the outer planets, that are in retrograde now that Uranus has also stationed retrograde. So if you look at the chart to your right, my left, you can see the degree numbers next to the planets and next to the houses. So if you focus on the planets inside the chart, you will notice that there are black degree numbers and red degree numbers. So notice how many red numbers there are. Red indicates retrograde, black indicates direct, which is forward. So you can see that Uranus has joined Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Neptune. Basically, all the slow-moving planets are in retrograde. And what's interesting is that Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius, which is Uranus's sign, which is the sign of the two full moons. So you can see how Aquarius is so activated now. And Uranus in particular is going to really create an enhancement, but also a focus on beliefs and wisdom and joy, because the actual full moon that's coming up on the 22nd of August has the moon and Uranus merged together as one. Really exciting. So when we have this many retrogrades at once, it is a time to assimilate, to digest, to reflect, to integrate all the rapid shifts that have basically unfolded in the last few months. And Uranus governs inventions and the future moving forward and revolutionary adjustments in our life. And so Uranus is always asking us to go beyond our comfort zone. So something is telling you and telling the world to follow our intuition, and in Mars's case, our instinct, to do things differently, to surprise ourselves, to trust in that aha moment that's coming through. Now, Taurus, where Uranus is and has been for several years, reminds us that love is our highest value. So Taurus governs our values, and Taurus is governed by the planet Venus, which represents love and beauty. And love is the glue that holds the universe together. And our minds cannot comprehend this. Our minds are not going to discuss how love holds the universe together. That is our heart. So this is why it's so lovely to have Mercury, planet of the rational mind, and Uranus, planet of the inspirational mind, come together in this exact trine, because it's opening up many doors for us to experience life beyond the human mind. For example, when you hear love is the glue that holds the universe together, you have to suspend disbelief. You have to trust. You have to feel that statement. And you have to take it as faith, that this truth is something that you just trust and have faith in. And only then you experience that actual love everywhere and in everyone. So that is a belief then. It becomes a belief, and your beliefs impact how you experience life. They influence your perceptions. They influence how you feel in general. And Uranus has come up now to shake up those beliefs. So anything that we've outlived, that's become stagnant, that no longer works, we're all ready for this upgrade, and we've been upgrading as we speak, of course. And so things are going to be shaken to awaken. That's really the impact here. But with Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius and Jupiter conjunct the moon in the next full moon on August 22nd, it is actually meant to be a very liberating and joyful experience. So the revolution that's happening, the eruption that's happening with Uranus, that is shifting those big boulders, those mountains of conditioning, to create a breakthrough, to ultimately create an awakening, that is basically showing us that many of our beliefs have been too narrow, and Jupiter is expanding them. Jupiter is broadening the horizon. We're going beyond the horizon. So here's the other thing to add to this mix, is that the moment that Uranus stations retrograde, Jupiter is opposite the sun, exactly opposite the sun. On August 20th, which is the day that Uranus stations retrograde at universal time, Jupiter will be at 27 degrees Aquarius, opposite the sun at 27 degrees Leo. And 27 is the number of unconditional love, of leadership through wisdom. And Jupiter, of course, sees the big picture beyond the horizon. So 27 is very broad, the unconditional love. And so there's a tension that's created, of course, anytime we have an opposition, right? It's showing two sides of the same coin. So this is basically to test our belief about love and to not be swayed by our conditioning. The oppositions seek balance. So if you truly trust that love is everywhere, which it is, then you are going to experience that. So a lot of limiting beliefs are being challenged now to expand and be more inclusive, more galactic. So going back to the joy of Jupiter having such a big impact as well, being conjunct the moon in the full moon in Aquarius, being opposite the sun right when Uranus goes retrograde. Jupiter is asking, what about your inner climate? Is it joyful? Is it at peace? Is it in a state of surrender? Because your beliefs create the climate that you live in. Some carry sunshine in their hearts wherever they go, while others are more about the cloudy outlook, the cloudy weather outlook, or even doom and gloom coming. So what is your inner default climate? Your inner climate is determined by your conditioning and by the choices you make in response to that conditioning. So, of course, your inner climate can vary. Sometimes there are things that happen in life and, it changes how you feel temporarily. But the default inner climate is what we're looking at right now. So your beliefs and ideas about love and freedom, about joy, about God, they contribute a great deal to your inner climate since they impact how you feel about life in general. So if you are aligned to a kind world or kindness itself, to trusting, to feeling joyful, your inner climate will be a sunny climate. If you're not aligned to beauty and wisdom and truth and love, then it won't be. Then you won't trust. And that's how important your feelings about the universe, about God, about nature are, because they affect your outlook on life to a huge extent, much greater than you realize. And in fact, you can hardly feel free and liberated in the way Uranus and Aquarius and the number 5 and 14 are stimulating now if you have a lack of trust in the divine, in God, and that life is good and that you are good and that God is good. So when you trust in that, you feel good. But if you believe in a judgmental God, you do feel guilty often. You do feel judged. You do compare. You do feel insecure about life. And you won't trust in your ability to overcome those challenges. So your feelings about the divine really impact the feelings about life, about others, about yourself, and your feelings about your present situation and the future. So one of the questions to ask yourself, this is part of the awakening process, is life a drag or is life a gift? Is it frustrating or is it mostly amazing with some frustrating, difficult moments? Is what you do a total chore or is it mostly fun, enjoyable, and occasionally there are burdens? Yes, that's part of growth. So how do you see life? Do you unconsciously blame God for problems, for struggles? And if you do you realize that sense of unhappiness stems from the ego? Because knowing this will help you overcome the perspective of the ego, right? The feeling of lack, always needing more. And instead you feel content and you feel present and you feel joyful about life. And this joy is your birthright. This joy is something you can acquire by deep breathing, by giving gratitude for so many things, little and big, throughout the day. Taking walks in nature, eating nourishing foods, infusing your water with love before you drink it, clearing energy in your home, clearing your own energy field, however you like to do that, hugging a person whom you love, smiling and laughing. This raises the weather in your inner climate. So the degree that you are not afraid and willing to embrace the adventure, the number 5, Aquarius, Uranus, the degree that you're able to embrace that adventure of life is the degree to which you are aligned with your divine self and see God and the universe and life as goodness. Now, after 2 days, on the 20th of August, we have a powerful Aquarius full moon on August 22nd. There are a lot of 2s there, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. 2 days, August 20th and August 22nd. 2 is the number of peace and integration, connection, respect, diplomacy, kindness, sharing. And this is going to be a tremendous time, a truly liberating time. Now, as for that conjunction with Jupiter and the moon, just never underestimate Jupiter, the bringer of joy, the power of a positive outlook. When you feel positive, everything shifts, everything changes. And one of the greatest growing that we do on our spiritual path is to weed out the negativity, the negative beliefs, the negative people, the negative environments. Negativity undermines your progress because it clouds up your vision and it keeps you from seeing the beauty, the bounty, the joy, the benevolence of life. So being aligned with the joyful universe, the beauty of God, it brings a purpose to your life, to align with that joy, to trust in the immense infinite intelligence. We have a bounty of intelligence being revealed now with Uranus, with Aquarius, with the wisdom of Jupiter. And if you don't align this way, what's the alternative? You believe everything happens randomly, that life is random. So that takes away the whole sense of having a purpose. So as Uranus is stationing retrograde and changes direction, so much celestial energy now is helping us look within. Know what you believe is so important because those beliefs that you hold true affect how you live your life, how you treat people, how you feel, your decisions. Take that ultimate risk. Look at things. Retrogrades, remember 5 slow-moving planets are retrograding. Retrogrades give you that opportunity to reflect, to really honor the quest for truth. Okay, so trust in the natural goodness of life. Have an amazing week. And also know that the full moon in Aquarius is up on my website. Just go to taniagabrielle.com. You can watch all about that incredible conjunction with Jupiter there. And also, if you want to know more about your Astro-Numerology, your star codes, go to starcodeclass.com for a free masterclass I created for you. You'll learn all about your birthday, your destiny, your purpose, your soul code, and you get to know how people in your life are aligned and what their purpose and destiny is, which helps with respect and so much unconditional love. Have a beautiful week, a beautiful Uranus retrograde, and I will see you in next week's Star Codes forecast. Lots of love.